Andrea here from createyourfuture.co. So today we're with Erika. Hi, Erika.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, everybody.
So guys, we have a really, really exciting video. It is how to make someone fall madly in love with you. Of course, we've got a success story of one of our subscribers, actually. So this subscriber, as you can tell through her story, she actually got success just by listening to the tips on this channel, as well as reading, like watching the success stories. So that's absolutely amazing. So Erika's going to read it, and then we're going to go through some pointers on how you can apply in your life, how to make someone madly in love with you. And yeah, to manifest a relationship that you want. So yes, I'm excited to hear this story, Erika.
Me too. Okay, let's start. She goes, I wanted to thank you for the guidance regarding manifesting an SP. I felt the need to share my story since the success stories of so many others have helped me in my journey. I have had every kind of block imaginable at times with this specific person. He thought at one point that we were incompatible, that our religion, temperament, and you name it were not a match. He even left and got engaged to a different person at one point. But here we are. I manifested him back and madly in love with me. He wants me to move in and marry him and has even discussed getting a tattoo for me. That's huge.
Right? Like he's going to tattoo her name on him. That's amazing.
Forever.
Love it.
Recently, we fought and he broke up and he said that he wanted nothing to do with me. I will admit that I stayed in the negative and powerless train of thought that got me there in the first place for a few days. But I'm not kidding when I say that the very day I got back into the group of manifesting and remembering that my thoughts create, I manifested him back saying he loved and missed me. Listening to your success stories and tips helped me keep in the group and instantly manifest loving contact when there had been none at all. I wanted to add my story to the powerful momentum for other people. It really is as simple as your thoughts create. Great. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yay! That is so amazing. I absolutely love it. And you know what? It is really seriously that simple. Your thoughts create, and it's just keeping yourself on that and in that state of mind. You know, it's funny. I was driving. I was out this morning, and I was driving back to here home to my office, right? And I was thinking, you know, of where I was like 5 years ago, and I was like, wow, you know what? Everything that I intended sort of came true. You know, well, actually, no, not sort of, it all did, because how it started was this morning, it was really dark and rainy here, and Andrew actually went to work, and I looked out the door, and I was like, oh, I'm like, I remember when I worked at a job, I'm like, I didn't like going outside and working when it's dark and rainy. I was like, oh, and I was like, thank goodness I don't need to do that now. And I ran back into bed, and I crawled into bed, and I was like, oh, you know, a little comfy, right? You know, watching TikTok. By the way, we're on TikTok, and it's at Create Your Future, Amanda. Anyway, so, and then I realized, of course, when I was driving, to circle back to the story, was I remember when I did have to go to work in the rain, I was like, no, I want to have my own business. I want to work at home so I never have to go out in the morning, get up when I don't want to, ever again. Like, you know, and look at that, 5 years later, you know, and the reason I went out this morning is because I wanted to, not because I had to.
Yeah, I used to think the same way. I just want to work from home. I want to work from home. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be able to stay at home in my pajamas if I want to.
Right? So, you know, it's all about just creating the focus, like the intention, you know, what is it that you're creating, to be really, really clear on it. I think that's the biggest part, is saying, okay, look at, you know what, this is what I want. So, you know, I wanted to be my own business owner because I wanted to run a business, and I wanted all the perks that came with it, knowing what would all be, but that was my goal, right? I could have easily manifested a job where I worked at home. I could pick my own hours as well, right? So, you know, focus, find what you want, get clear on what it is, because we don't know what a block is until we know what our goal is, right? You know, I mean, if I don't, you know, let's talk about Jerry. If Jerry doesn't want to talk to me, right, and I don't want to be with him, then it doesn't matter, you know, that he doesn't like me, right? But if I want to be with Jerry, all of a sudden the thought that he doesn't like me now becomes a huge block, right? So we need to be clear on where we're going to, right?
Exactly. Yeah, she mentioned something very important, how, like, you know, she thought that maybe the religion was, you know, a block, right? An impediment for them to be together. If that's what you're thinking, then that's what you're creating it. But if you change that thought to, no, it doesn't matter what religion we are, right? We can still be together. His family is gonna be supportive of the relationship, or my family, right? It doesn't matter that we're from different, religions or backgrounds. It doesn't matter. They see the love that we have for each other, and that's what matters. And I always think of the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. What was it? Like a very Greek family, and this I think she was Greek and he was Catholic, right? And the family, they were so different, and her family was not really supportive, but that didn't matter. Like, he converted to her religion, and it worked and everyone could see the love that they had for each other. And at the end, like, they just loved him, right? So don't create blocks, right? When you be like, no, it doesn't matter that we're different religions.
Exactly. So if you were to like go to create something and say, well, give me all the reasons why you guys aren't together. Every single one of those is a block. It needs to be changed. And it's as simple as going, well, you know what? We're not compatible, to going, you know what? No, we are actually compatible. It's like, we're not compatible is a block. We are compatible. You've now cleared that block. And it's really as simple as that. And then persisting in the we're compatible until you feel it. To the point where you don't feel like you need to say it anymore, right?
Exactly. Now, she also mentioned that, like, she was kind of like in a negative frame of mind, and she created some issues in the relationship. But the moment that she went back to thinking positive, he came back to her, right? So I think it's important to keep a consistency of positive thoughts, right? Positive assumptions about him, and, that the relationship keeps growing, that you keep, the connection gets stronger, right? Always create positive, situations with your positive thoughts. Keep a consistency. A lot of people see a lot of hot and cold behavior because their thoughts go, positive, negative, positive, negative. Then you need to stop that, right? Yeah. You need to keep the consistency of positive thoughts for the relationship to keep showing up in a positive way, the person to keep showing up in a positive way.
Exactly. And the persistence is really key here as well, and just really stick on top of your thoughts. Sometimes, we'll go back and forth, so much that we won't even see it manifest, but it did manifest the minute we thought it, but then it went back, and it went back to the way it was, right? I think that's so incredibly important, is hot and cold behavior. It's, being inconsistent in our thoughts. That includes reacting. That definitely includes reacting, right? Because when you're reacting, you're only going to create more of what you're reacting to, right? Because you're resisting it. So whatever you're resisting is going to persist. So that's why we just accept it. We accept it because we've created it. We accept it graciously. And then we say, okay, well, thank you for that. And then we turn around and in the same breath, well, in our heads, we create the opposite intention, the intention towards what we want, right? So I think that's incredibly important. The other thing is, she mentioned was she focused on success stories, and she filled her mind with those. And, it's so important to just focus on what's good in the world, what works, other people, be happy for other people's success, because that you're actually, when you're happy for their success, you're sharing in it. When you're sharing in it, you're creating it for yourself. That's why we basically do all success stories. That's why our Facebook group is all success stories, because focus on what's good, right? When you have the time, like, always, if you're wondering about something, look up other people that have been successful. That's why people love biographies of successful people, because it makes them feel good, and it makes it, possible for them to create it. If I always say, look, if so-and-so can do it, so can I.
Exactly. Yeah. If it happened for them, just believe, oh, I'm next, right? And mine is going to be even better, right? Why not? Take it up a notch. But really believe if they were able to manifest, their SP the way they wanted to, I can do it too, because the law applies for everyone, right? And also something that I was thinking about, besides focusing on only the positive, what are your conversations with your family and friends? Because some people are like, affirming, right? The positive story. But then they go and talk to their family and they're like, oh, like, I haven't heard from him, or I feel so single and I'm afraid of being alone, right? Well, look at what you're talking about with other people, right? It's the conversations that you have with, with yourself, like your thoughts, your affirmations, but also what are you saying to other people?
You know what? That's totally true, right? So, I mean, if there's nothing that you can say that's positive to start creating the momentum than you want, then maybe just opt out to not talking about it at all. I'm famous for saying I'd rather not talk about this right now. You know what? I'm just not ready to talk about it. Like I'm just not in the mood to talk about it. No big deal, and people respect that. You know, because honestly, people don't want to talk about it if it's all negative anyway, especially if they care about you because it bothers them. But what I did, okay, and there's different examples of this with Andrew, was when I wanted to move in with him, I told everybody that we were talking about it. Now, nobody, like me and Andrew weren't talking about it, but I was planning to talk to him about it. But because I kept saying that we're going to be talking about it, we're talking about it, that actually created the conversation to actually happen. Okay.
Right.
So, you know, it's very, so is there a way that you can word this to act as if, right? So for instance, you know, you can always say, well, I've been thinking about, you know, getting back together with them. I've been thinking about working it out. You know, I've been thinking about what they're doing lately and they've probably forgiven me. Like throw in there something maybe that isn't like 100%, but may not be like not, you know, like negative. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, or don't talk about it at all. You know, like things though in like say coaching sessions is different. We help you to find your blocks to clean it up. That's the whole point, right? We're going to help you create a new story. But you know, even my friends are guilty of this. Me coming with a negative story and them just adding to it, right? They're like, oh yeah, totally. Oh, they did that again. They did that last year, right? Whereas if I spoke to somebody else, like one of the coaches about it, they would be like, oh, Melanie, what are you doing? Right. So very, very different, you know, conversations, but, you know, totally correct and watch what you're bringing up with other people because that's actually creating as well.
Absolutely. Your words are very powerful.
Totally, totally true. And I mean, you know, I think the other thing is, you know, creating assumptions, right? The assumptions that, you know, everything's working. And I know some people have commented on this channel before that a lot of the information that we have is repetitive. And you know what? It is, but it's a reminder. You know, every morning I wake up and say, look at my thoughts create today. Everyone's going to be joyful and feel good. And everyone's going to create something wonderful who comes in contact with me, whether it be through my videos or my social media or one of my coaches. Like, you know what, this is going to happen. And, you know, but it's a reminder every single day of seeing on that. It's a reminder, you know, like I'll be doing my thing, right? And all of a sudden I'll read a success story and I'm like, oh, that's right. Totally forgot. You know what? Oh, here's me, right? Way off in left field. Forgot that I'm a creator for a moment there, right? Oh, forgot everyone was being pushed out. So it's all just about reminding, right? And so first of all, it's repetitive, so we learn it. Second of all, it's repetitive to remind ourselves, to bring us back into that state of, yeah, you know what, we create. And then, you know what, as you keep going, you can always put it and apply it to another area of your life. Like, you know, for instance, a specific person, like make someone fall madly in love with you. You can do this with a crush. You can do this with like a coworker if you want. You could do it with your clients. You can do it with your subscribers, right?
Right.
You know,
Absolutely. But I think, you know, they might say it's repetitive. I think it's just really easy. And maybe people want to hear, oh, what else? What else? Well, there's nothing else.
nothing else.
Change your thoughts. That's it.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So, you know, and so again, now how do we create somebody falling madly in love with us? Okay, so the first thing we do is we create the story about them, okay? Are they compatible with you? Are they, first of all, create that they're madly in love with you and that they want to be with you? And again, what does madly in love look like to you? Does it look like them calling you every day, or is it them, you know, wanting to marry you, making future plans with you, moving in with you? What do you want to specifically see out of the relationship? And then also, right, work on who you are in relation to that relationship. Mostly, I mean, I think that just myself saying I'm good enough to have someone madly in love with me is pretty much enough. But if you've got more insecurities, that isn't going to be enough. Okay. So you've got to like basically work on all your insecurities as well. So I feel like you bring something there. You know, you have to say, look, I weigh perfect weight now, not I got to lose 5 pounds before they're going to be madly in love with me. Right.
Right. Work on that self-concept. I'm a great catch. I'm funny. I'm sexy. I'm super attractive. I'm, you know, oh my God, it's sweet. I'm whatever it is, right? Put yourself up on that pedestal. I'm valued. I'm respected. I am cherished. I'm desired. Like on and on and on. And you're creating a reality where people around you treat you with that love, that respect, they value you, they choose you, they commit to you because that's what you're. You know, you're saying this is who I am. I'm the person that they commit to, that they love, that they value. and then people around
Exactly.
you go that way.
And they reflect it back to you, and they definitely reflect it back to you, right? So yeah, no, I mean, all great things. So guys, you know what, just to summarize, you know, circumstances don't matter. Okay, there's no such thing. You can change someone's religion, you can, or you can make it that they're okay, you know, being different religions, they're compatible. You can even intend they get a tattoo with your name on it, with like a heart, you know, like, you know, with a little
forever love is gonna be on your skin forever.
Right there on their neck, a big tattoo with a heart of your name. You can do that.
Right.
What are blocks, right? Blocks are any statement or thought that is basically not in line with what you want, right?
Yeah.
And so break down those blocks, focus on what you want, fill your mind with, you know, and your days with reading positive stories, with talking positive, and watch what you share with your families and friends, right? You know, I think Thumper's mom had it right. If you're not going to say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Exactly.
And, you know, if all else fails, right, I mean, you can always sign up for coaching with Erika, links in the description. She can help you, you know, with any sort of statements of how to deal with your situation with family and friends when they ask, or, you know what, you can just go with the straight up, I just don't feel like talking about it right now. And, you know, we talk about something different, which everybody in your life, you know, intend that they respect that as well. So that's always an option, right? Or you can get creative, you know, like I did as well.
So it's going great. How's your husband? How's your wife? Right?
Exactly, right?
We'll get the name that I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, it really just depends on what you're comfortable with, right? You know, with me, like, for instance, you know, as I'll explain, is to me, I was like, well, you know, I said we're talking about moving in together. And the reason why I was comfortable with that was because I was planning to talk to him about it. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like I was running around, you know, like telling, and I didn't tell like his mom or anything or any people he knew, but I was, for me, it was like, no, we're talking about it, you know? And so for me, it was something that I was planning to do anyway. I mean, I was like, well, if it turned out where he didn't want to or whatever, well, we still talked about it. And then when people asked about it, I'd be like, well, we talked about it, it didn't happen, right? But it actually did end up happening. So, you know, you've got to create that for your situation, you know, and for what you're comfortable with, like, you know, acting as if and what you share with family and friends shouldn't be an all-out lie that you feel, you know, embarrassed about saying, you know, because that's not really what it's about. But, you know, there are ways to navigate through to apply it to what you're comfortable with, to apply it to your situation as well.
Absolutely.
You know, amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Erika. Amazing.
No, thanks, Amanda, and thanks for, you know, a wonderful person that shared her story with us. And, you know, I'm sure it will inspire a lot of people to say, I'm next. I can do it.
Yep. Exactly. And yeah, somebody requested that, you know, a subscriber send it in, and they did, and there we go. So, and guys, if you are looking for coaching, Erika's link is in the description below. And if you would like to ask me a question, please definitely sign up at the Patreon group, and that's where I answer the questions on the YouTube live. So thanks so much for being here today, Erika.
Thanks, Amanda.
And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.